Hi, happy spring break. Let's make a sunset painting. All right, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to draw the sunset. I will give you this to have at your desk so you can look at my drawing while you're doing it, but I thought it would be helpful if you watched me draw. We're going to be using watercolor paper, and I used on this a white pastel. I think the white looks just really nice and sharp and stands out, especially in the sky. But for the sake of the video, and this also wouldn't be wrong in your class, I'm going to show you how to do this drawing in the light gray, just so you can see it on the camera. So in class, you could use white. White sometimes can be a little hard to see. You need to have a light or some sun on your paper sometimes to see the white. And for the camera, you definitely will not be able to see the whites. I'm going to show you in gray. All right, so to make this drawing, it's not hard at all, but you do need to know the right steps. So I'm going to show you, you're going to start at the center bottom of the paper, and we're kind of making wobbly diagonal lines. So we're going to alternate sides, a line to the left, a line to the right, which you'll see in a minute. So starting right about here, you could draw a point in the center. It doesn't have to be exact. And then about 2 finger spaces up on this side, you could draw another point. And then I'm just going to connect these with just wiggling my pastel back and forth a little bit of a bumpy diagonal line. So now I'm going to go to the left. I don't want to go all the way back to the end of this line, just slightly above that. So about maybe 1 or 2 finger spaces above. And then this time, since this line went to the right, now I want to go to the left. And I guess if you were using a gray pastel and you wanted to do pencil underneath, that would be fine. I would suggest maybe not doing pencil at all on this and just trying to free draw it with your pastels, because I wouldn't want to see, I think this would kind of be not as pretty if I saw pencil lines underneath. So again, now I've gone to the top of this line to the left, center of this line, I'm going slightly over and up to the right, slightly over, up to the left, slightly over, up to the right. These are our waves, slightly over, up and left, slightly over, up and right. And you'll kind of start to feel, or at least I do, what kind of seems natural, like this. I've also done this many times by now. And then this one at the top, I'm gonna make slightly more flat, because this is where our earth or our water meets the sky, which we call a horizon line. Okay, so here's our horizon line about halfway up. So I've made my waves. Now I want to think about making my sun. So you can see here, it's a fairly simple sun. You've probably all drawn a sun before. So I'm going to go about halfway into this line and halfway here. So centered about right there on my paper. So right about there in the middle. You could have a smaller one, you could have a larger one. This is not, I'm just showing you what I do. So about halfway in here and halfway in here. And then I'm just going to draw half of a circle. And you will not be able to erase oil pastels. I mean, you can try, but it really doesn't work. So kind of whatever you end up with on your paper, you can see this sun is much larger than that sun, but that's totally fine. There's no rules to this. Then I'm going to go ahead and start making those rays of my sun. Again, I'm making slightly bumpy lines, and I'm going in a radial pattern. So radial means out from one center circle or radius. So I'm going to keep going up, and I'm just doing, you can see as I start going up, you could even turn your paper too. That I want the lines now to start going this way as I get to the side of the sun. Hopefully that, so you should end up with something like this. You'll have this to look at so you can kind of compare. If it's not exactly the same, no worries. We're going to go ahead and just focus in the next video on making our sunset and our water look beautiful with this wet on wet watercolor technique. So video 1, get your drawing done, and please don't forget I often do. Write your name somewhere on the back. You could even put your name in pastel right here if you wanted to. I'll show you what that looks like. It's kind of cool because it shows up when you paint. All right, so come back and I'll show you how to do the painting.